I love to hear success stories of people who have used my advice. And it's not an ego thing. It's that it reinforces to me that what I'm telling people works. A lot of people don't share those success stories. I have to go out and ask them. Some people do. A lot of the times I will talk to people, I give them some advice and I tell them, hey, if this works, I would love to hear if it works. If it doesn't work, I'd love to hear what didn't work and let's troubleshoot it and work through it. Often I don't hear from people again, and that's okay. I get it. I don't expect everybody to kind of circle back and tell me what worked. Sometimes, though, people do. And those are the most rewarding conversations I have usually. And rewarding because they were able to use what I uh, suggested. They were able to use my approach, and it worked exactly as I think it should work. Those are tell me that I'm not just making up something here that's not valuable. I enjoy talking about this topic. It's the topic I could talk about for free. It's the thing I could help people for free. I don't want to always do it for free, and it's not because I need to get paid for it. I could do this for free for the rest of my life. I could show up and do these videos. I could put out the newsletter. I could talk about this on LinkedIn every day for the rest of my life for free. If nobody ever paid me, I would still do it. The reason is because I've seen how impactful it can be for people and what it just when people get it and they do it and they see it work, they're like, this is like, I don't understand why everybody's not doing this. I would love it to be my full-time job. I spend a lot of time on this. I spend a lot of mental energy. I'm always trying to figure out how to get this out to more people because I really do think it's not just, this isn't just about networking to find a job and some job search tactic thing. For me, networking is about making connections and developing human relationships and communities that are going to help you live a better, longer, healthier life. More productive, more abundant, whatever words you want to use. And it's not about you're going to get huge career success and make a lot of money. It's about you're going to have a lot of career success and also help a lot of other people with career success or business success or life success. Because it's about developing human relationships where we help each other. You help other people, they help you. This is, again, not about getting a better job and making a lot of money. Now, that may be why you're networking. And if that is, there's nothing wrong with that. Great. Good for you. I hope you get that. And I hope that you learn along the way that you can help other people. And that's even more rewarding than the extra paycheck you're going to get from a better job. I would love to figure out a way to, again, make this my full-time job and my main source of income. And I'm still trying to figure that out. It's a little bit of work. It's actually a ton of work. It's 90% of doing this. The content is there. I understand the content. I could talk about it all day. It's the 90% of it is marketing to people. And I would love to do it just because, again, I'm not trying to get wealthy or crazy, famous. I don't want to be famous, by the way. I would just like people to understand, hey, this is out here. This guy talks about it. It works. Try it out. Because I'd love to have people find more success with this. And I would, like to do this and not all the other stuff I do, not because I don't enjoy it, but this, like I said, I could talk about this for free for the rest of my life. That's something you should focus on making your primary vocation. I have bills. I have a lifestyle. I'm not extravagant, but uh, I need to pay those bills. So the point of this is oftentimes the reward that I get for talking about this and sharing this is people coming back to me and saying, this worked. Oh my gosh, this was life changing. And when I hear those stories, I am not even kidding. I get a little bit emotional uh, because the people who are telling me are so excited and what has happened for them is so inspiring that it makes me feel like I had some part in that. And that makes me feel like I'm putting good into the world and giving a little bit more. So recently, a pastor at a church. Yes, somebody who's a pastor at a church. Talk to me about what he's going to do after he retires from being a pastor. So he's at an age where he's going to retire, but he's certainly not at an age where he wants to just do nothing in retirement. He's got a plan of what he wants to do, and he has an interest in what he wants to do after he retires from being a pastor. So this is, in essence, sort of a career pivot a little bit. So his main thing he's been doing for his entire career, he's been a pastor for 40 years. He's going to change, sort of. It's still going to be sort of a pastor-like role, but he wants to focus on what he calls being a death doula. So if you think about a birth doula, that's somebody who helps women have their children, help them deliver their children, and families deliver their children. That's a birth doula. A death doula helps anybody deal with death. So a lot of times at the end of life, people know they're going to die. They have a disease, a terminal disease. They've been very sick. They know the end is coming. How do you deal with the emotional grief or the emotional, demands of that? And it's not just for the people dying, it's for the people who are their family, who are around them. And as a pastor, he's been around this his entire career, because, people call their pastor when they need to, when somebody's sick and they're in the hospital or they're in the nursing home or they're on hospice, they get a pastor to come because they're getting ready to navigate that next phase of existence, right? And so he's really interested in this. He wants to do this, and he came to me and he's like, how do I network with people to find other jobs or to build a business around this? Which, it's a very sort of, again, spiritual, emotional thing, but there's still a job around this. And if he's going to do this and spend his time doing this, it's not something he's probably going to do for free. I mean, he could, but he thinks, this is worth something. This is worth something to people, and there's people who would hire him to do this. So we talked about it, and we talked about some things he could be doing to get the word out. What I recommended he do, because he was talking about, do I need to post a blog or do a website, or how do I get this out there? How do I let people know I'm doing this? My recommendation to him was to kind of follow all the steps in the connection loop, starting with, who do you already know that maybe does this? Or who do you know that interacts with this? So in this case, people who interact in I'll say the industry of death, not to be morbid, but people who are around this stage of life are funeral directors. I mean, people die, they have a funeral, there's a funeral director. Other priests, pastors, whoever runs a church, deal with this all the time. Other people might be, people who possibly like do end of life planning or estate planning. So I just said, like, who are all the people that you know? Like, number one, does anybody do this? He's like, not really. I mean, not a lot of people know about it, but there's a few. Okay, follow those people, talk to them. Funeral directors, pastors, like, start talking to people and just saying, and reach out, right? So people you already know, start with who you know. Reach out to them, have a conversation, connect online, have a voice-to-voice conversation, listen, and just kind of listen to what they're saying about, how do you deal with this issue in your job, or how do people who are your customers for this, let's use funeral directors, right? Mortuary owners. How do families deal with this? Who deals with this part of it, the spiritual part? Like, you're doing all the logistics of, like, what's the coffin look like, and what time is the service going to be, and is it going to be a big service? Do we have it here? Do we have it at church? Where's this person going to be buried or interred? Like, all those things. But there's who deals with the emotional stuff, right? So have those conversations, so that these mortuary directors or funeral directors are thinking, oh yeah, there's this problem with families don't have anybody to talk to. Who could I have them talk to? Oh, you're the guy that they could talk to. You're the problem you solve for them is you help people deal with death. I help people navigate the emotional demands of death. So we talked through the loop. We talked about what to do. And I said, these are the things that I would recommend you do if you're looking to do this. And he's not in a hurry. He's not retiring right now. He's trying to think of the next year or two down the road. And so he's like, okay. And so he kept updating me right? And he kept saying, hey, this week my goal is to reach out to one person a week and have one conversation a week. I was like, great, sounds good. Broke it down, made it very much a habit, right? Was trying to keep up his habit, was trying to keep track. It was like, I'm reaching out to one person and having one conversation. He's like, they're good conversations. And so he's going through this and going through this. And then I didn't kind of hear from him for a while. And so that's normal, right? Like as people I sit down, I talk to them, I walk them through this, and then I don't hear back from them. And he said to me a, a, a couple weeks ago, he's like, I have a job post retirement. I've already got it, and I'm not going to retire for like another year. But I already know my job that I'm going to have in retirement. I said, wow, that's amazing. Like, what happened? He goes, I did exactly what you told me to do. And that led me to a job, the opportunity I want. And I never would have imagined it even existed in the world. He's like, I didn't even know this job existed. Like, I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know who I was going to work for, how I was going to do this. But he said, I didn't even know it existed, but I started reaching out to people I knew, people I hadn't talked to in a long time. And there was one guy who I knew was in this sort of industry. And I hadn't talked to him in a long time. I reached out to him, got in touch. We had a phone conversation, reach out, person you didn't talk to, dormant tie, connect online, right? Talk voice to voice. They had a phone conversation. He said, and then he came and flew here and we had lunch and he stayed for a little while and we had a longer conversation. We talked about what he needed and what I wanted to do. And he's like, and we walked out and he said, okay, here's the role that I want you to take on in my organization. And it's training other pastors, it's speaking to other pastors on this topic of how do you navigate the emotional demands of people who are dying. How do you be a death doula? Like not how do you be, but how does he take his expertise and his years of experience and train other people on it? He's going to do it for this large organization. It's going to be, all over North America. And he goes, it all worked exactly the way you said it was going to work. And he's like, and it was totally comfortable. It wasn't a big, long process. And I just kept doing it and having conversations, and it led me to this. And now I know exactly what I'm going to be doing. And like I said, I get almost a little bit emotional about that because here's somebody who was like, I have this idea. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I just kind of took the steps you told me to do and I followed them step by step and I had the conversations and look, now I'm exactly where I want to be. That kind of stuff, again, that's mostly the only reward I get from talking about this, but at the same time, that's huge for me, right? This is a whole career pivot sort of. This is somebody who's like, could retire, but he doesn't want to. Now he's ready. He's going out. He's already got this all done. And that's the kind of people I love working with. I love working with people who say, I'm going to go follow this step by step and I'm going to do the things you tell me to do and I'm going to try them out. I'm going to work through them and then I'm going to come tell you how that worked. So big win for me recently, just because that always reinforces that this isn't all just a big waste of time for me. Oftentimes I do get that feeling sometimes. I do feel like I'm shouting into the wilderness sometimes. I do feel like screaming into the void of like, do this, do this, do this. And a lot of people, I'll tell things like, hey, they'll reach out to me. These are even people I know will reach out to me and say, hey, I'm looking for a job. Could you help me? And I'm like, have you not read one of my LinkedIn posts or my newsletters? I always tell you, like, that's the worst approach to people, but people do it. And I say things like, hey, that's great. By the way, I wrote this, how to deal with this exact situation in a newsletter. And I send them a link to the newsletter. It's free. They don't have to pay anything. I say, read this and do what I tell you in there. I don't say do what I tell you. Read this. And when you've got your target company list or you understand what you want to do with networking, get back to me. I'd be happy to talk to you more. 9 out of 10 times I never hear from them again. And I don't know if they just don't like the advice. They don't think it's going to work. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do that work, or they just find a job another way. I don't know what it is, but when somebody does it and it does work, I love to hear that. So I share that just because it's helpful, I think, for people to know where I'm coming from on this stuff. I also share this because I do coach individuals on this. I coach groups on this. I would love to get a coaching group going on this. I haven't done that for a long time. I've done some one-off office hour things. Again, the coaching group, I like the group aspect because it helps people um, stay on track and stay a little more accountable. If they're accountable to the group, it's stronger than if they're just accountable to me. I'm just some guy that's bugging them about getting this stuff done. But if there's other people who are doing it and they're not, they feel like, oh gosh, I need to get this done. So if that's something that you're interested in, if you'd be interested in doing a 4 to 6 week coaching group where we would get together for an hour a week and we would talk through the process and where you're struggling, I would happy to ramp those up. Those are paid coaching groups, right? That's something you got to pay to be in. And the reason why I do that again is number one, it's my time and expertise, and number two, I find that when people have something invested in it and more skin in the game, they're more likely to do the work. I know that happens for me. I'm in multiple paid groups for different topics, and I get into those because number one, it helps me be accountable. It helps me make progress. It also, I have skin in the game. It's like, I paid for this. I need to get the most out of it. So that's something I'm interested in. If you're interested in that, please let me know. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching, I do that as well. And that can be a 4 to 6 week engagement where we set up a strategy and I talk you through it and I tell you what to do, and you work through it. And if you're having trouble, we figure out other things to do. But that's going to be a higher cost than the coaching group, just because that's one-on-one time with me. And if we're going to meet, one-on-one, and I'm going to do it, customize the strategy for you, it costs more, but at the same time, you get more attention and more focus and maybe more accountability. So, a couple ways I can help people. Like I said, I talk about this stuff all the time. Most of what I tell people is, or any of the advice that I would give you in a one-on-one or a coaching group, you can get from every piece of content I've ever written. What you're getting in there is not necessarily anything new or different, but you're getting my focus and you're getting my feedback and you're getting my experience. And it's not just I've coached you, I've coached a lot of other people. So I've heard about some of the challenges and I've navigated those and come up with different solutions. So that's something you're interested in, reach out and let me know. Otherwise, keep reading the newsletter, keep, checking out the book, keep reading my LinkedIn posts. And if you want to do it yourself, you totally can do it. And you probably don't need me, but if you need a little bit more help, that's what I'm here for.